Morning, Ray. Good morning. Welcome to Morning Outlook. This is Kim speaking on Friday, the 18th of November. So, what are we looking at today then? We'll start off I'll start off changing pairs, but start off looking at the risk events that are occurring today, Friday the 18th. So we got UK retail sales, so that's already popped in. Let me just update this. Clear it up a bit. There we go. Retails came in fractionally higher than expected. A little bit of cheer for the pound, but I expect they may drop down in coming months. The ECB President Lagarde is speaking at 8:30 this morning. Watch out on the euro, but at the moment there doesn't seem to be much that's moving it on their speeches. Let's just have a look on the other system if it livens up for me. There we go. So retail sales out. Well, okay, we've got a few other ECB speakers through this morning. We've got Lagarde at 8:30. Then we got one at 1300, 13:15, and then we got Bank of England man speaking at 13:15 as well. Quite a few speakers out today. We've had speakers. We had speakers out all day. Well, I say all day yesterday, for quite a bit yesterday, but hasn't made a great deal of hit on the market in real terms. But there are a number, as I say, just be wary that there's speakers out there. But there's little in the way of core news if I come back to here to come. Existing home sales, really, it might make a little blip in the market now, but it's not yet having the impact that we would have seen previously. And when I say previously, I mean many years ago now, pre-2008, when it really had its days of impact. Anyway, on that cheerful note, let's have a look through these markets, starting off with the euro dollar. And so I was looking at this euro dollar yesterday, and it's continued to consolidate where it's sitting at the moment. Yesterday was a down day. Does that mean we start selling the euro? And one thing that I recommend you have a little look at and play with at some stage is Heikin-Ashi candles. And this just calculates it averages into the previous candle, so it gives you a bit of a view, and it shows you whether something really technically is still overall running in one direction or is changing direction. You start seeing it with these. Okay, there's a sign of weakness yesterday, but with the calculations how it works out, it was a positive bar, and it's still showing positivity overall there. So it might just hold you into some positions where all of a sudden people think, well, I'm going to go short now. Now there is some weakness, to be fair, and as I said, there's a bit of weakness on the Heikin-Ashi bar itself. Yes, we had a bit of a down bar there. There's some early signs of potential weakness here. We haven't really, until we break the 102.78 area, we haven't put a lower high in here. It's more consolidation on this 4-hourly picture. Yes, on the hourlies, I suppose it's clearer, and it's definitely put a lower high in there. Well, a partial high, lower high within the noise of the bigger scheme of things. At the moment, it's sitting here consolidating. Which way is it going to go? Goodness knows, is really the answer here. This is a complete coin flip, although we know the bigger bias is to the upside, so potentially we could see it run up, but anything that runs up just before 8 o'clock or just after, I would tend to leave. We saw it yesterday. It was a perfect example of not pushing the trade and just chasing the pre 8 o'clock move, which is what happened there, I should imagine, for quite a few traders, as it popped up and then just rolled straight back over, well, it rolled over a lot further than I would have thought, because I'm sure there would have been a opportunity there yesterday. Anyway, that's the euro. The pound, not too dissimilar on a daily, is pushing up here. Is a little bit more solid come yesterday afternoon. It's pushed up half decently, saying that they all have pushed up a reasonable amount, and it looks, well, if you don't look at the left hand side, you just look at the far right hand side of this chart, it doesn't look so bad actually. It looks like it is setting itself up potentially for some more upside there. So straight through its daily pivot there, it's ticked off. A reasonable opportunity, not a lot in the way of targeting that. You just hope that it's going to push on beyond that level, which is a possibility. Anyway, there's a pound. Yen again consolidating where it is. It's if it starts drifting up a little bit more, I'd be wary of this, but at the moment it's still sitting in that sort of overall short area. It just hasn't gone through the prior little near-term high here, hasn't broken that yet. Yes, it's put on the shorter time frames higher lows, but in the general bigger picture here, it's just really consolidating, looking quite ugly. But once again, just looking at this, and you just think, well, post 8 o'clock, maybe we'll get a push back down again. Let's just take that off there. So there is that scope for a run back down towards S1, maybe beyond. Looking at the lows yesterday, we could see a bigger move if it starts shoving. Okay, it's the yen, Aussie dollar. I mean, we've got no real news to move things at the moment, so here's a bit of a drifter. Aussie dollar picking up a little bit after selling off yesterday, a little stronger. It's still less favoured in a whole score of things. You can see why when you come back to the weeklies. It hasn't broken its trend line yet. The weekly trend line struggling a little bit where it is. It was certainly looking softer at stages yesterday. Still untouched weekly pivot. I think that looks unlikely now, to be fair. And again, like the others, if we see this dollar selling continue, we'll see the Aussie dollar pushing up further potentially. It's a very similar price action. As I said, it came off so strongly yesterday. Okay, there's just a Canadian dollar then. Let's just look at these majors. So lower highs through on the dailies there, as we've always seen, and we saw a fire up yesterday, but it then pulled back, gave us effectively, sorry, I'll go back to dailies a second, effectively, well, it's given a doji, a graveyard doji sitting there, looking soft. Yeah, looking relatively soft all the way through there, with potentially more downside still to come. So some are looking better. The euro looks a bit messier. They're all looking a bit iffy. I will give these times. I will be given these times to sort themselves out this morning. There's probably a new trend line to be drawn on this euro. If I come back to this, let's just draw that across here. Even it's broken there now. Actually, I'll pop the one there which is sitting. I'm sort of cherry picking a little bit here, so you've got to be a bit careful with these. But you'll catch the idea. Just this short-term part of that trend line, looking a bit well. Break of that might see us push through. Needs to push on through there. Needs to get a kicker. I've got a feeling it might be a slow day with no news to really drive things. Okay, that's where we are here so far. Let's look at change markets and just a quick look at gold and gold and oil. Gold wise, well, it's, as I say, sold off. It already done pretty much that sort of sell-off yesterday, I think. Perhaps not as much as it did do in the end. It was hanging into its 34 actually when I was looking at it in the morning, but that finally rolled over. Not looking the greatest, but looking okay-ish. It's in terms of retracing on this from yesterday. It's getting there, similar-ish pattern. It's just it's a longer way down. It just looks weaker. So maybe be better off trading the currencies than the gold. Looking at oil, once again, we've seen another down day yesterday, and as I said yesterday, got to change my tune a little bit on this. If we do see reduced world output and stuff, it's certainly going to affect the demand on oil. and could see it rolling backwards. We always knew we had massive surpluses, even without Russian oil there was a surplus because everyone cut back. But now, well, looking still quite soft even down to this 60-minute. It really did get a shove on. Well, from 2 o'clock it started moving, but the 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock off it went yesterday, breaking down these prior lows and really running over. So still looking, as I say, on the softer side there. Nothing really set up right now for me, but I will look again later. Okay, that's that. Let's go and have a look at the indices. Briefly run through these, and then we'll look at some of these. So the CSI 300 off today. Looked at this early hours of the morning, these markets, and they didn't look too cheerful at that point. So they're slightly off. The Nikkei's off at the moment. Nifty 50's off at the moment as well. Nifty 50, it's just a case really, the way I'm looking at it, if you're a trader of the Nifty 50, is really just find some decent support, and then it could be just needs a bit of support, and I think we could still have some further upside on that. Certainly looks one of the more positive markets out there. S&Ps, the E-minis here, again sold off yesterday. Shorter time frames here not really showing me too much. It's just curled round here. That's the only thing. Arguably it did a head and shoulders for those people that are following that, and it did break down in the morning session there and continue to roll over there. So it did look quite soft. That does look quite soft, coming down the time frames. Really looking quite iffy where it's sitting, but yeah, could have more downside from what we're looking at here on the shorter time frames. However, the bigger picture, remember, is the upside. So if you're going to trade any of this retracement that was currently in, I would trade maybe smaller on the position sizing. Dow Jones, similar picture really. It's just flagging really, so you've got to be a bit careful on this. But again, it's put lower highs in through the 4-hourly picture, so we're seeing that same old 4-hourly picture. Maybe if it starts breaking down some more, it could be a bit of a catch, a join in and trading it down. Just going to the Nasdaq, same 4-hourly time frame here. You can see the lower highs, and again looking a tad on the softer side. Coming nearer to home and looking at the DAX. I was looking at this all day yesterday. You needed to be traded. God knows what time you trade frame you'd been trading off yesterday. There might have been something off the 30 minutes here, but certainly looking at it on the 4-hourly time frame, it was choppy and ugly. And just coming through from here on the DAX, quite ugly. Okay. FTSE's not open yet. Let's just come back to daily on this. It ended up on a half decent day yesterday in the end. Bearing in mind it sold off for most of the day, and it just sort of came back and put some more in there, which just suggests to me that there's potential for the FTSE to push up further as well. So I'm not expecting the DAX to really roll over from here. I say with the price action we're seeing here, it's consolidation around the high. It's just waiting for it to push up there. Okay, that's pretty much it. I'll got a very quick look at Bitcoin. Just seeing a comment, buying the euro from the daily pivot. Yeah, it could be. Miko, it's a small start. I'll talk about that. I'll come back to that in a moment. Bitcoin. It's not really doing too much down here. There is so much fear sitting around cryptos at the moment, quite rightly so, I think, in the current scheme of things, how much they've been affected by a single exchange out there. Anyway, for now, all of these looking pretty soft. Sorry, I will just come back to euro. I was looking at the euro and thinking of a more long-term long really coming back out to the picture, the bigger picture here, and considering a more of a position size long, try to see if we get back up. As I was talking in my trading room yesterday, of how the cycles may be changing a little bit and the euro's catching up. Don't particularly like the state of the economies, etc. So from a fundamental point, it looks soft, but technically it's broken this downward trend here. There are some signs, as I said, it still looks bullish on this daily picture, just consolidating where it is, and maybe it could be that you just literally, and I was talking about, as I say yesterday, you probably need quite a large stop on it, 250 pips or so, stop on, and start position trading. So start small entries, and then if it starts kicking out of this sort of pattern, well, start adding into it. There you go. Have a great weekend all. I'll catch you next week. Take care. Bye for now. Oh. Could the Dow draw be in a flaggish position? Sorry, I just looked at that question there. The Dow, yeah, it's let's come back to the indices. The Dow Jones then, yeah, certainly you got this flaggish position. It certainly shows up on the daily point of view there. It's had a bit of a retrace, and there's all sorts of questions to what it's really doing here. But it could well push up there. I'm pretty bullish on the bigger scheme of things on most of these markets. Just waiting for the right opportunity. Okay, I wish you a great weekend. I'll catch you Monday. Bye for now, guys.